I don't know how to start this, so I guess I'm just gonna get into it from here. Hi guys! So, you're probably wondering where content's been. It's been a month of disappearance, and I haven't really produced anything at all. And I guess I have to just kind of say it straight up to start the video. I've been struggling with drinking. I've been having alcoholism problems, and I've been struggling for about a solid year now. I've relapsed 3 times, and I am just now finally on my true leg of sobriety because I've realized that it's a fight every day for me. It's not something that's just going to go away. It's not a problem, and it's something that I very much need to address for a host of different reasons. So, that's not an easy thing to say, but it's just a reality, and it's something that I have to deal with because it's created a very just terrible crater in my life. Alcohol is a substance that I don't understand why it is legal. I know we dealt with the prohibition stages and we're dealing with our own prohibition in cannabis, but it ruined my life in so many different ways. It affected my relationship, it affected my career, it affected my finances, it affected my stability, it affected my mental health. There's almost nothing that it actually didn't affect. And most of all, the reason that I'm making this video, not only hopefully to help some of you actually maybe find your own help or get a better understanding on this entire disease, as alcoholism is a disease. The second thing I'm really making this video for, and the thing that is really kind of weighing on me, is to apologize to you guys. As I never created Strain Central as just something that was for me. It was never something that I just, decided to do to create a career. It was building a community, and it was educating. And it's something that I haven't been doing for at least a solid year now. And I want to use the excuse that YouTube taking my channel kind of took the wind out of my sails. But in reality, that's just what entrepreneurship is kind of moving from, what happens to the next thing that happens to the next thing that happens. So I can't blame anything but myself and maybe slightly my genetics for this. But it's a very, very, very hard thing to deal with that affects a lot of things. And for my life, it's like I said, affected obviously you guys, my viewers. It's affected a lot of relationships and business. There's reviews that have taken me months to get done. There's reviews that I still have to do. And it's things that alcoholism does not affect just that period of your life. It doesn't affect just when you're in it. It leaves a long imprint even into your sobriety. But it's something that I think we all have to realize as people who are dependent on alcohol or people who drink a lot, that we have to deal with, and that we're going to have to continually have to keep fighting through and actually fighting to overcome. And a lot of people say when they deal with, substance abuse problems of any kind, that it's a day-by-day process, minute by minute, hour by hour, whatever it is, process. And what they mean by that is it's literally you fighting your own mind. And a part of fighting your own mind is kind of making the decision that you actually want to start fighting. And I think that's something that a lot of people that struggle with substance abuse issues struggle to get to the point of. And that's why they talk a lot of the time about hitting rock bottom, and rock bottom being the place that you want to kind of turn your life around and get things better. But the reality is we shouldn't be hitting rock bottom before we're able to kind of realize and catch ourselves and get a hold of our issues. And the scary thing, especially with alcohol, is it's such a readily available substance that everyone can access at any hour, almost any hour of any day. You can go to the bar, it's at almost any restaurant. In a lot of states, it's in grocery stores, gas stations, and it's cheap. It doesn't cost much, and it's normalized in society. So you start out casually drinking, as I did, just with friends. Like, here and there you have a drink, you turn 21, you go crazy, you might have your little high school stints or whatever. But you go 21 when you go, party and have your bar, runs with all your friends. And from, 21 to 25 for most Americans is, that party phase. And the scary thing for a lot of Americans is during that party phase, since we're not really taught in America how to correctly consume alcohol, we binge drink. And binge drinking quickly becomes daily normalized drinking. And when daily normalized drinking becomes dependency, that's when it's a huge issue, as your body is reliant on a substance that is readily available. So most of the time for a lot of people, especially if you're, genetically prone to this issue, you're not going to choose to feel like shit. Especially if you're not the most strong-willed or just don't like pain. So alcoholism is such an easy path in America because we drink with our friends, we make it normal, and then, you might here and there have a glass of wine or a glass of whiskey after a long day of work or after a long, day of college or something like that. And some people even use that as their prime substance. And once daily use becomes normal, it's easy to drink earlier in the day. You go have some mimosas, you start kind of day drinking. Day drinking becomes normal throughout the day drinking, which becomes alcoholism very quickly. So that was the path for me. That was something that I struggled with, is I started with a normal, what I deem, I guess, normal drinking habit. And that was, having a drink here and there a couple times a week with some friends. And a year and a half down the road, all of a sudden I was dependent on the substance. And if I wasn't drinking, I was shaking, I was sweating. And you can't live your life if you're shaking and you're sweating, so you're normally going to go just drink. Sorry, quick angle cut to not have the sun directly in my face. But that's the issue with the drinking culture today, is we're not taught that, yes, there is ways that you can consume alcohol healthily, I guess, even though it's technically literally a poison. But we're not taught how to. Whereas in Europe, they're kind of taught, have a glass of wine with dinner, make it something that's not something that is hidden. You can't touch till you're 18. You can't touch till you're 21. So once you hit that age, you just go fucking hard and overdo it. We shouldn't make blacking out or even having hangovers a thing. That shouldn't be normalized. And the worst part is hangovers is a word that we use to soften withdrawal. No, you're not hungover, you're withdrawing from a substance, you're withdrawing from alcohol. So that's how normalized it is in American culture, is that we literally use words to soften realities. And another one of the really scary realities with alcohol is it's not like a lot of the substances that you can just kind of quit cold turkey with your own willpower and just trust that you're going to be fine. Because alcohol, when you just quit cold turkey, if you're a heavy consumer, can cause you to seize. And seizures can cause your heart to stop. So it's a very real, reality when you're dependent on alcohol. And it's a really scary reality when you're dependent on alcohol, to not want to stop. It's something that, unless you're medically detoxing, you're probably not going to want to do. And I've personally, like I said, I've gone through 3 detoxes. I've gone through technically 2 one-day detoxes and 1 7-day detox. And it's not a fun process. The process of withdrawing from alcohol is awful. You're shaky, you're sweaty, and then when it gets into the later days, you start seeing vivid hallucinations. I'm talking, think about taking mushrooms, but having a really, really bad trip. That bad trip lasts for 72 hours. You're seeing things that aren't there, everyone else doesn't see them, but you're super convinced that they're right in front of you and it's a reality. And it's a terrifying process to go through, and if you're not being medically supervised, you can literally actually die through that process. So they heavily medicate you. with benzos, which realistically can cause you to also get addicted to, and the withdrawals from benzos are basically just as bad as alcohol. So that's a whole nother road. But it's like, it's a substance that will pull you in and pull the soul out of your body. It will take the health away from you, and it will literally kill you slowly. The late depths, the late stages of alcoholism, you're shitting blood, you're puking blood, your skin's like decrepit, and you're literally withering away. And I read this thing the other day that alcohol, the word itself, actually originated from it was some kind of Arabic word, I do believe, al-kul, and that basically means evil spirit, like human eating spirit. So it's something that if you are not very aware of your consumption, if you're not very aware of your use, can quickly turn into a very dangerous use. So what I'm trying to mostly say, other than I'm sorry for fading off the planet and I'm coming back with content that's not an empty promise like I've been promising for the past who the fuck knows how long, as this is a choice I'm making, and I hope you support me in this choice. I thank you guys for all the support that you've given me throughout this. I've mentioned bits and pieces of this on some social medias, but have never addressed it directly up front, as it's something that I think I was kind of being a little bit prideful and hiding, and it's not something that was fair to you guys at all. So in this step of sobriety for me, I'm addressing this as it's something that needs to be addressed. You need to understand, and I really hope it helps some of you guys. So there is a lot of resources that I will link down below for those that are currently struggling with alcohol dependency. I know it's something that's extremely, extremely, extremely scary and hard to go through. It's something that brings feelings of extreme depression, extreme guilt, a lot of self-hatred. And I think that a lot of negative mental health, a lot of bipolar, a lot of just things that should be medicated with, actual medication, or we could medicate with healthy cannabis use, we end up self-medicating with a substance that is slowly killing us and causes a lot of harm. So I advise us to not do that. I love you guys very much. I definitely hope the future holds a lot for this channel. Revitalization, I guess we can call this. But I love you guys, like I said. Stay positive. Stay medicated. Peace.